Yo, what's good with you? Back in black with another enlisted video. If you guys are new to the channel and you love shooting games just like me, make sure you aim for that like button and shoot that subscribe button as well. It'll help you find better teammates and improve skill-based matchmaking. At least I hope so. In this video, we're going to be talking about the new weapons and vehicles and the new map that is coming to Enlisted with the recently announced Forest Shadows update. So over the past couple of days, Enlisted social media managers had been putting out a few posts advertising some of the new features coming to the game. Most notably, I guess as of late, it was the map preference feature, which has been long awaited, so I am very happy to see that. But also today, they announced a new battlefield that we'll be fighting on is going to be the Brandenburg Woodlands, which is an extension of Silo Heights. In regard to my personal opinion on the brand new location that they ended up choosing, I will say that I am somewhat surprised that they went with this instead of going with Kursk, because I was assuming that that is the next map that they would have put in the game, considering the recent polls that they had on their Discord asking people if they would be interested in adding Kursk as a map. But it seems to me that they more or less stayed in the same area but kind of did a slight pivot, because, you know, essentially we went from open fields of Kursk to the woodland areas of Brandenburg. And I guess from an aesthetic standpoint, I am not necessarily hurt at all, but going off of their description, the new mission is going to be called Walled, and the way they break it down, they basically state that the Battle of Silo Heights took place in April 1945, and it played a major part in the encirclement of Berlin. We drew inspiration from these events in the unique landscape to create a new area for large-scale confrontation between the Germans and the Soviet forces, so clearly they are stating the factions that are going to be fighting on this new map. Combining three distinctive sections, a dense forest, heavily fortified outskirts, and the streets of a mid-20th century German town. It looks like a lot of fun to me, in my personal opinion as well. In the forest areas, they state that you'll have to take advantage of the rough terrain to fight your way to the enemy positions while overcoming bunkers and trenches hidden by the undergrowth. Kind of reminds me of I guess the outskirts of Moscow, if I'm being completely honest. But the main difference will probably be that there will be a lack of snow on this map. Of course, I haven't played on it yet, but the other thing that I would like to note is that, you know, just looking at these images, I can say that I appreciate that it will probably be easier for the attacking team to actually make some headway on this map, considering that, you know, tanks won't be as predominantly overpowered as they would be on a map like Hurricane Forest or Dominant Heights, and that's going to be thanks to the, you know, plentiful trees and, you know, wooded areas that you have to advance through. Tanks won't really be able to make much use of that type of area unless they get really good marks from their team. And then of course when you get down into the city, then that should make it pretty hard for tanks to, you know, succeed in that area as well. They should, however, have some pretty good success in the open field, so it should be a good time. Aside from that, we do have some new weapons and vehicles coming to the tech tree for all nations as well. First up is going to be the PPSH-41 with a silencer on it. This is going to be moving into the BR5 category, of course, for the aforementioned Soviet Union. And of course, the description goes the Soviet PPSH-41 submachine gun with an unusual modification that makes it possible to take down enemies silently. The massive silencer transforms the gun's characteristic sound into a muffled whisper, allowing soldiers to easily set ambushes. Happiness loves silence, especially when it comes with a rate of fire of 1,150 rounds per minute and a 71 round drum magazine. Quite simply insane, taking an already OP, I guess most would consider it OP gun by nature, and then putting a silencer on it. The reason you guys gotta, you know, get your hands on those silencers is because it makes the AI take longer to notice you when they're getting shot from the side or behind, essentially making it easier for you to mow down the entire squad without them being able to turn an auto lock onto you, which is very annoying. Coming up next for Germany, they're going to be getting a new tank. Not that they necessarily needed a new one of those, they already seem to dominate in that area, but we will be getting a Jägerpanther, I don't even know how to say that for real, Jägerpanther G1 moving into the BR5 slot. The command variant of the legendary tank destroyer, the Jägerpanther G1, is not just a simple war machine. It dominates the battlefield, its sloped frontal armor can easily bounce off incoming shells, and the coaxial MG MP-34 machine gun will be your guardian angel against the infantry. Time to hunt. It does seem like the front of the tank doesn't really have like a flexible turret as far as like turning, so may need some really good infantry support to get good usage out of that one if you're not sitting in the back of the map gray zone camping like the usual tanker. Brand new into the tech tree for the USA, we are getting the M36 GMC at BR5, and this may very well come in handy to take out that new tank the Germans will be getting their hands on. Description goes, if you can't penetrate the armor of the big cats, worry not, this slugger is here to help you out. This self-propelled anti-tank gun was designed specifically to hunt the most dangerous predators on the battlefield. Its 90mm M3 cannon easily penetrates 150mm plus armor out to a distance of 100 meters. Not that it's the most aesthetically pleasing, but again, could very well come in handy, although you could consider self-propelled anti-tank guns more of a glass cannon type of vehicle. Getting back into the small arms, for Japan, ever so surprisingly, we will actually be getting our hands on an M2 carbine, but not just any M2 carbine for BR5. This one is actually a sawed-off version of an M2 carbine, which I didn't even really know that was a thing, to be quite frank with you. But the description reads, compact and very effective modification of the M2 carbine with a 30-round magazine and 8.3 damage per shot. Combined with its rate of fire of 750 rounds per minute, it can transform into a real tornado that sweeps enemies away in close combat. The missing front sight also hints at this, which is basically hinting, why aim when you could just hip fire. I guess they're saying that this weapon will be superb at hip fire. I don't know if there's a stat for hip fire spread in this game, but that would be something that I will be paying attention to when I make a review for this in the future. Aside from that, Japan is getting two more goodies, being two more planes if I could be more precise. First is going to be the Ki 100 for BR3. It has outstanding maneuverability and versatile armaments. Two 20mm cannons and two 12.7mm machine guns and a pair of 250kg bombs. Pretty good if I do say so myself. Not the best armament in the world, but the cannons and the 250kg bombs are a pretty nice pairing if I do say so myself. Last plane we're going to be getting for Japan is going to be the M1K2J for BR5. Achieving victory on the ground is only half the battle. The N1, well, honestly, in my personal opinion, achieving victory on the ground is like at least 80 to 90% of the battle, but neither here nor there. I know they gotta spruce it up. The N1K2J Shiden Kai, also known as the Violet Lightning, with its 20mm cannons will ensure air superiority, while two side rockets will keep the infantry in check. If it's only two, I can't really say that's nothing too crazy or anything to be afraid of, because if usually when it comes to like American planes, you're getting volleys of like 8 rockets, but neither here nor there. We will see how it performs. That takes care of everything in Enlisted that we will be getting for free, but for those of you who actually like to spend some money, which I encourage depending on the actual pricing of said item, but for those of you who like to spend money, we are getting some extra guns. We are getting the Silent Storm Guerrilla Squads. First one up is going to be the Commandos with the Thompson M1. This is going to be a BR4 squad for the USA faction, of course, and these in particular are going to be British Commandos, special elite forces formed following a request from Winston Churchill at the height of World War II. Main armament for them is going to be an M1 Thompson, of course, with a silencer on it, and like I alluded to earlier in the video, silencers basically just help you remain undetected by the AI, which makes it easier to mow down swabs of enemies. On the flip side, from the USA, we are also getting a German squad, the Werewolves, with the STG-44 with the silencer on it. Essentially, in the summer of 1944, the Germans began creating a resistance force that would carry out operations behind enemy lines, and they get a really cool helmet that has the really cool camouflage netting on the front, which typically is only something that you would see with snipers, but since we're getting it with a assault rifle squad, then can't say nothing but a bonus for that. For those of you who like to lay in the bushes and go prone, should be very hard to see. And I will say, not that I'm encouraging this, but foliage is something that is pretty useful sometimes to take advantage of in this game, so pretty cool. If you do buy this pack, you do get a nice little bonus as well. You get a portrait and you get a cool little nickname decorator in the form of knives on the end of your name in game. But the issue I find with this is that, again, the price is a little outrageous, and this is a reoccurring thing with this game, which is why I don't really talk about premium stuff that much, or anything in this game that you have to spend money on, because every time I do, or every time I look at the price, there's always something that just like, why would I want to pay almost a game's worth of money for 2 squads? It's crazy to me. If they could knock that down to like 20 or maybe 25, then we would be talking, and even then that might be stretching it for most people, but it is what it is. It's a free game. They can charge whatever they want. It's a little absurd to me, and I don't think I will be purchasing it necessarily unless like you guys are really clamoring for me to like do a review on like this. But again, I just don't really like to review stuff that people have to spend money on, because it would just make me come off as like a pay to win kind of guy, when I just could talk about stuff that everybody could get for free. But that's my 2 cents on that. Anyways, that takes care of all the new weapons and vehicles that will be coming in the new Forest Shadows update. Which, I guess, item or a piece of equipment are you guys most looking forward to? Me personally, I am eyeing that sawed-off M2 carbine. I really want to do a review on that and see how it stacks up. It's just kind of peculiar that Japan would even get such a thing, but you know, hey, Japan does need more stuff in general, so can't say that I'm opposed to it. And generally speaking, I am looking forward to trying out those new planes as well, because I'm trying to get back into using vehicles more, trying to give me a reason to not use the APC, and we'll see if this thing stacks up well. But other than that, do appreciate you guys very much for watching. Don't forget to aim for that like button and shoot that subscribe button as well. Hope you find better teammates, improve your skill-based matchmaking, and yeah, black guy out.